Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. Alhamdulillah, we are honored to be joined by Sayyid Hadi Yassin as our guest speaker program. Sayyid Hadi Yassin has honored us with his presence many times before, so he requires no introduction in our community. Inshallah, let us welcome him with a salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad.
جزاكم الله خيرا. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا حبيب قلوبنا وطبيب نفوسنا وشفيع ذنوبنا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين واللعنة الدائمة لأعدائهم أجمعين من الآن إلى لقاء يوم الدين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. Brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Congratulations on this auspicious ayyam, days and nights of the, inshallah, the week of Kiramat that we're going to start, the Viladat and birthday of Hazrat Masooma Fatima Masooma Qom. And inshallah, within a week, in this hafta, in the week of Kiramat, the Viladat of Imam Rida alayhi salatu wasalam. May Allah give us tawfiq and opportunity, inshallah, to be among the true followers of Ahlul Bayt and register our names among those who support them, inshallah. Recite salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa ajjal farajah. May Allah, inshallah, bless you all. And inshallah, give the khair hajat for all of you guys and to all of you guys. Alhamdulillah, it's a tawfiq for me once again be with you, and I hope and pray Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keep all of you guys healthy, safe, and inshallah in the best status of iman. When we go to the history of Ahlul Bayt, we see that the value, the position, the maqam, and the arzish of those people who, the companion of Ahlul Bayt, those who were with Ahlul Bayt at that time, will be measured by their level of obedience towards Ahlul Bayt, which is, of course, towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The level of attachment they had towards Ahlul Bayt, how much they followed Ahlul Bayt, and how much they listened and followed and obeyed Ahlul Bayt. And it depends on the level of ma'rifah and the level of knowledge they had towards Ahlul Bayt. If we are talking about for example, companion of Rasulullah, companion of Amir al-Mu'minin, Imam Hassan, Imam Hussein, the rest of them, we say that yes, they had many companions, many followers, but those who had more ma'rifah towards the maqam of Ahlul Bayt and Rasulullah, they are those who are among the best of companions. When it comes to, for example, the Imam Ali, there are only few of them that they have the true ma'rifah towards Imam Ali. When it comes to Imam Hassan, the same. Imam Hussein, we talk about those 70 something people who they were had so much ma'rifah towards the maqam of Imam Zaman of their time and Imam Hussein that they sacrificed themselves for the sake of the Imam of their time. That's why today the Shuhada of Karbala are recognized as the best of all, Shuhada and the soldiers. Although there was definitely a difference between the mission of Imam Hassan and Imam Hussein. So what we measure is that the companion of Imam Hussein والسلام, they were supposed to do what was meant and asked at the time of the what? At the time of the mission of Imam Hussein and support Imam Hussein with ma'rifah in Karbala. The companion of Imam Hassan, on the other side, they were supposed to follow and obey Imam Hassan in the sulh and the peace, the treaty of peace that he made with Muawiyah. So if the companion of Imam Hassan were doing what the companion of Imam Hussein wants to do, or opposite, it was wrong. Following and having ma'rifah and being, submitted to the maqam of the Imam Masoom, an infallible Imam, is a level, is a measure and a factor that would distinguish, those who are closer and better to Ahlul Bayt and others who were simply around, and of course those who were enemies. At the time of Imam Rida والسلام, similar things happen. That the most important mission that Imam Rida والسلام, had was to travel from Medina, immigrate to what? To Ray. And to go to, from there to Iran at that time. And this immigration was so important that many of the companion, they started, many of the people started complaining, why you're going there? No, you shouldn't go there, not knowing exactly what's going on. Why did you accept it? Why not accept it? Anyhow, the maqam of being submitted as Imam Hussein was to leave Mecca, many people are, complaining to him why you're living, as if they know more than who? More than Imam Masoom. Abdullah ibn Umar comes to Imam Hussein and says, Hussein, why you're living? You know what's going to happen to, in Kufa, you shouldn't leave. As if Imam Masoom doesn't know, you're teaching him. The same as Imam Rida, they came and trying to teach or guide or recommend Imam Rida. No, you shouldn't do it. And there were only few of them that they stood with Imam Rida and they supported him. Anyhow, when Imam Rida immigrated, went to Khurasan at that time, so what happened here is that Tus actually and Khurasan. So what happened here is that because of Imam and the presence of Imam, what Imam did, he recommended Bani Abbas to change their capital from Tus to go to Baghdad. So that area, Iran, were kind of empty from the huzur and presence of Bani Abbas. It was ready for the, Shia with the huzur and presence of Imam Rida to be able to establish a station, a level for the Shia, which it happened. And because of that, many of the children of Ahlul Bayt, Imam Zadeh, they came and traveled to Iran because of Imam Rida. Among this, there were two very important trips happen, which came with a lot of barakah. Number one, of this was from Caravan, from Medina. One was from the children of Ahlul Bayt, Hazrat Masooma, that, she came from Medina towards Tus, Khurasan, to see her Imam and her brother, Imam Rida, and the other one was, the Shah Chiraq that came to Iran as well. So what happened here is this. We are going to review some important points here, that someone like Hazrat Masooma, alayhi salam, why we are celebrating, considering what I started with, celebrating the birthday of this Imam Zadeh. We have thousands of the children of Ahlul Bayt and Imams. We never celebrate the majority of them, right? Beside Ahlul Bayt and the companion and then the close family of Ahlul Bayt, we don't celebrate. Imagine Imam Kazim has many children. Imam Sadiq, Imam Baqir, we don't celebrate any of them. Why we celebrate the birthday of Hazrat Masooma, Fatima Masooma, Salamullah alayha? Why we do this? The Qom, which Hazrat Masooma was immigrating from Medina to go to Tus, Khurasan, and in the middle towards Shahr al-Ray, and then in Qom, that Shahr al-Ray passed away, and then they brought her to Qom and they buried her over there. What happened here is that became a very important station for Shia throughout the history up until now today. That you understand what I'm saying? The city of knowledge of Ahlul Bayt and Shia, Ma'rifah and school of thought is Qom right now. The huzur and presence of a Marajah there. Thousands and thousands, scientific and science and many aspects of knowledge of Shia and Ahlul Bayt and Islam being produced from Qom, mainly because of the presence of this Lady Fatima, Fatima Masooma, Salamullahi alayha, became a very important station, very important manzil for the ulum Ahlul Bayt. How and what happened? Who is this lady? And because of her, this much blessings and this much, alhamdulillah, barakah happened to not only the Ahl Qawm, but even to the whole Islam and Maktab of Ahl Bayt. Hazrat Masooma passed away two years before the shahadat of Imam Rida alayhi salam. And look, Imam Rida, but at the time of Imam Sadiq alayhi salam, group of people from, Ray, they came to visit Imam Sadiq alayhi salam. When they went there, Imam Sadiq 3 times says, good for our brothers of Ahl, Ahl Qawm, good for brothers of Ahl Qawm. Good 3 times he mentioned that. And then Imam Sadiq says something very important. He said, there is a haram, a shrine for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, haram for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which is Mecca, Kaaba. There's a haram for Rasulullah Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa Muhammad wa ajil farajum, which is what? Which is in Medina, the shrine of Rasulullah in Medina. There is a haram for our Jad Amir al-Mu'min Imam Ali sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, which is in Kufa. At that time, they didn't have Najaf. They had Kufa. They called Najaf Zahrul Kufa. It was attached to Kufa, to Kufa. And then Imam says, وَلَنَا أَهْلُ الْبَيْتِ حَرَمًا وَهُوَ قُمْ سَتُدْفَنُ فِيهَا إِمْرَأَةٌ اسمها فاطمة. And for us Ahlul Bayt, for Allah there is haram, for Rasulullah haram, for Amir al-Haram, for us Ahlul Bayt, after Amir al-Mu'mineen, there is haram in Qum. I want you to pay attention to the words and kalam of Masoom. There is haram in Qum for us Ahlul Bayt. Satudfanu fiha. There will be, at the time of Imam Sadiq, imagine. As Imam Sadiq, where is Imam Sadiq and where is the Hazrat Masooma, right? After Imam Kazim and then Hazrat Masooma. So, and then Imam says there will be a lady will be buried there from my children. Her name would be Fatima, will be there. And one of the most important thing here is this, because of the huzur and the presence of that lady, this maqam will be happen and given to. Look at this, how important is this topic here when we pay attention. What is about Hazrat Masooma? She's not apparently among 14 Masoomin. It is very important at the time today that Islam has been accused left and right, falsely accused for certain things, such as Islam is, not paying attention to women and ladies. Islam is oppressing women and ladies. Someone with just a quick research, not a deep research, quick research to see how much actually in Islam we have some important figures, such as on top of all Hazrat Zahra, then we have Hazrat Masooma, we have Hazrat Zainab, we have Banin, we have Fatima bint, all these ladies of paradise that I call them. Look, it shows the maqam of them, that now imagine Marajan, ulama, everybody's, and other, Imam Zadeh and Chandra, they were going to the haram and asking this lady to be the shafi'ah, which we're gonna call and talk about this. Inna lake sha'nan min ash-sha'n. In the ziyarat nama of this lady, you go and you recite this. You have a sha'an, you have a maqam, you have a position. There is a position of maqam for you with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You have that position. What is that sha'an? What is that maqam? What is that level that Hazrat Masooma sallallahu alayhi she had, and how could she achieve this maqam, that she had this tawfiq, that she became, a source of barakat for Islam and for Shia, a school of thought. We're going to review together what made her so important in Deen, and why, again, among all the, Imam Zadeh and the sons or daughters of Imam, we don't know any of the daughters of Imam specifically, except Hazrat Masooma and a few like the children of Imam Hussein, why she's so distinguished and why she's so important. Number one, as I mentioned, the ma'rifat of Hazrat Masooma. Compared to all her siblings, the ma'rifat of Hazrat Masooma to Imam of her time, Imam Rida. When Hazrat Masooma leaves to go to Khurasan, first and foremost, she asked for permission from Imam Rida to go there. She's not going only, look at, I said the arzish, the value of a person in Islam would be what? will be measured by how much they follow and obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by obeying the Imam of their time. The attachment they had to their Imam, right? We have someone like Habib ibn Madahir. He can't leave, he can't stay in Kufa. As soon as he hears that Imam Hussein is coming towards Karbala and he's in Karbala, he can't wait and he leaves and he goes to Karbala, right? This attachment here, or other companion of Ahlul Bayt that we had. So Hazrat Masooma here, what happened is this. She's not only going to see her brother, we have other children of Imam Musa Kazim that they didn't come, for example. She's going to see, she can't wait to see her Imam of time as well. The difference between this and other people. The ma'rifah and knowledge towards the towards the Imam of the time, which is so important, and made her distinguished. If you want to be distinguished here in your time, I was just thinking before I come and I was preparing for a speech, I thought about this. We judge very easily the companion of Imam Hassan. Why they didn't support Imam Hassan? Very easily the companion of Imam Hussein. How many of them they left, they didn't support? How many of them, you should have, people of Kufa, you should have supported Imam Hussein. You know that at that moment, at that time, many of them, they might have not known that this is a historical, spiritual, and important moment for them, that they are being tested to support the Imam of their time. Many of them, they were not the enemies of Imam Hussein, people of Kufa. They just made a huge mistake over there, that they didn't go to support Imam Hussein for many reasons. We don't want to go there. They were just, few groups of barbaric, bloodthirsty, savage people such as Shamr and Khuli and Umar Assad, all these people, we're not talking about them. The rest of Awam of over there, right? Many of the time of Imam Hassan, they didn't know that. Many of the time of Imam Rida, they might not know this is a historical moment. Many of us, we don't know. We are in a very critical, historical, and spiritual moment that we have to show our ma'rifah to Imam of our time, Imam Mahdi. Do you think that many of the people of Kufa, they regret it, as you know, but why they didn't support, why they didn't do their job at the time that they were supposed to do their job? That's why we had the uprising of Tawabin, the uprising of Mukhtar, and they became shaheed for the sake, because they missed the Karbala. Then they realized they missed Karbala, a few years after Karbala. So what about us? How about us? We know that there's no time and moment in the history of human beings unless there is an imam, a prophet, an imam, or a representative of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the earth, that people are being tested by that hujjat of Allah. How about us? The level and ma'rifah we have towards Imam of our time, it's not that our only thing we are doing is just we're alhamdulillah, busy with living and having, life and working and going here and there, as people of Kufa were doing, as people of Medina were doing, as very simply, go to bazaar, they were businessmen, they had a teacher, we have a housewife and have a life, and then all of a sudden, they said you have to go support the Imam of your time. What do you mean I support Imam of your time? How about us? How much I feel connected and follow, and how much ma'rifah I have towards the Imam of my time, that I will be judged by the next generation. We will be judged by the next generation of mu'mineen, how we did at the time of ghaibah and what we did at the time of ghaibah. If we don't know and don't recognize our responsibilities and role, such as people of Kufa and Medina and anywhere else. About Hazrat Masooma, this is an important distinguish, is the ma'rifat of her towards the Imam of her time. Number one. Like many others, Salman, Abu Zar, Malik Ashtar, Maysama Tammar, all these important Ashab Khas of Ahlul Bayt, they had this important, characteristics of their knowledge towards the Imam of their time. And following the Imam of their time, very important. To the level that Hazrat Masooma comes to the maqam, and she has the maqam of shafa'ah. Look at this. Someone who have this, let me tell you. Number one, the maqam and the position that Hazrat Masooma, the ma'rifah she has towards the Imam of her time. Number one. The second one, the knowledge of Hazrat Masooma. They call her muhaddatha. We have some, traditions manqul from her as well. The knowledge that she had. The taqwa of Hazrat Fatima Masooma sallallahu alayhi. She became the representative, as we had the hadith of Imam Sallallahu, representative of Ahlul Bayt in Qom in Iran. I mean, even her shrine right now, the representative of a great sample and model of Hazrat Zahra and Hazrat Zainab in, Qom. You heard about this, that the story of Ayatollah Marashi Najafi, very great. I really, those who don't know him, I recommend you to go read his biography. What happened to him? His father, he was in Najaf, Marashi Najafi in Najaf, and he was, he had, a huge ma'rifah towards Ahlul Bayt. He wanted to have a privilege to know where is the grave of Hazrat Zahra Sallallahu. He did some chille, some riyazat, some specific, practices he had, and he knew ulum qariba. He wanted to recognize where is the shrine of Hazrat Zahra, where is the grave of Hazrat Zahra. One night he had a dream. This, the father of Allameh, the father of Ayatollah Marashi Najafi, he had a dream, and the Imam comes to him and he is telling, what he want. This is Imam tell him that alaykabe, karimay Ahl Bayt. I want you to go and be close and attached to karimay Ahl Bayt. Ayatollah Marashi Najafi says to Imam that yes, exactly, that's what I want. I want to know where is the shrine of Hazrat Zahra. Imam tells him that no, this is a secret. This is a secret that should stay secret until a time that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He knows. But by Karimah Ahl Bayt, we meant Qom, Masooma Qom, Hazrat Masooma Qom. So go over there and then go to Qom. That when he, he came to Qom, and Imam Sadr tell him to go to Qom, and he immigrates from Najaf to Qom, and then that huge, blessings of himself and his son, Ayatollah Marashi Najafi, happens, that shows that Imam Sadr guiding him towards Qom, And it shows the importance that, this haram has for Ahlul Bayt. The level of piety of this lady. In Islam, brothers and sisters, nothing will be given to anyone unless that person deserves and unless that person does something to achieve that maqam and that level. Including Hazrat Masooma. She reached the maqam of shafa'ah. It's very important in Ziyarat Nama. Among all sons or daughters of Imam Zadeh, we have only, among the ladies, one, Hazrat Zahra Samlayha, she has the Ziyarat Nama, Manqul from Masoom. Second, Hazrat Masooma. Look how important it is. We don't have too many, Ziyarat Nama, specifically Manqul, authentic, narrated from Imam Masoom, for Imam Zadeh. One of them is what? One of them is Hazrat Masoom. In this Ziyarat Nama that came from who? From Imam Masoom, it is mentioning that she has the maqam of shafa'ah, intercession. Actually, I want to talk about this. What does it mean? The maqam of shafa'ah, according to our traditions, one, Hazrat Zahra Samlayha has in the second, Hazrat Masoom Samlayha she has. And we recite in the Ziyarat Nama of Hazrat Fatima Masooma, Ya Fatima tushfi'i li fil jannah, fa inna laka inda Allah sha'nan min al-sha'n. Oh Fatima, because the name of Hazrat Fatima Masooma is Fatima, you be intercessors for me, help me to go to Jannah, intercession for Jannah. فَإِنَّ لَكَ إِنَّ اللَّهِ شَعْنًا مِنَ الشَّعْنِ. You have the sha'n, you have the maqam with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The second one, someone who has the ma'rifat, going back to the characteristics, someone who has ma'rifat towards Imam of her time, someone who is attached to knowledge and her knowledge is to the good level, someone who her piety is important to the level of piety and taqwa of Hazrat Fatima Masooma. And I add another one, not only the taqwa, not only the iman, but also amal, action as well. Someone who has these characteristics. Look what happened, that her name is Fatima, but what happened that we call her Masooma. Very important, right? So there is a tradition from Imam Rida alayhi that he said himself, Man zara al-ma'suma baqum kaman zarani. The one who visits Fatima, the one who visits Masooma in Qom, it's the same as visits me here. Imam is still alive, right? What I want you to pay attention here is this. Imam Masoom, is infallible. He cannot just say something because he wants to say something, because it's just, na'uzubillah, God forbid, exaggerating it. Imam Masoom says, visiting that person is equal to visit me. The maqam of Imam Masoom comes from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He can't say anything unless this is authentic and truth, right? He says, visiting her, it looks like visiting me. You know what that means? The maqam of and then he said that. He said, visiting Masooma baqum. Masoom is what? The one who has maqam of isma. Of course, the maqam of isma and infallibility is different levels. You know, of course, 14 Masoom is the highest level. No one can reach that level of isma, absolutely. But we have such as, for example, Hazrat Zainab sallallahu. We have Hazrat Masooma sallallahu. We have Abul Fadl Abbas alayhi. So this had the maqam of isma, not the isma of Masoomin, but clearly we see that how Imam Rida alayhi calling her sister what? Masooma here. And that's the importance of this, that shows someone who has this characteristics, what they can achieve and what they can have. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa ajjil farajahum. So we see that this it's very important that this lady from a family that she's a daughter of Imam, she's a sister of Imam, she's an aunt of Imam, and this ma'rifat that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So it shows that there's no dead-ended route in reaching the sky of Iman in Islam, in spirituality. There's no limit. There's no limit that someone comes and says, only 14 Ma'asoomin can reach that maqam and that level, so no one else can. No, look at this. Look at this. Look, Hazrat Masooma, Hazrat Zainab, Hazrat Abul Fadl Abbas, they're reaching a maqam. They're the students of this maktab, right? They're reaching a maqam and level and position that the haram of them become the haram of Ahlul Bayt. It's very important. There's no dead-ended route here. We have Habib ibn Mazahir, for example, not to this level of it. We have Habib ibn Mazahir. Her shrine, her zarih is next to the zarih of Imam Hussein. Not only in Akhirah, how they're responding them to be with them, in dunya, the only of ashab of Imam Hussein, many ashab, we have the zarih for ashab of Imam Hussein, the other side, all together, all the shahada of Karbala. But only one of them has did separate zarih around next to Imam Hussein, and people go visit that as well. Next few steps away from Imam Hussein's, zarih and under the dome is there. Not only in Akhirah they take care of them, in dunya as well they take care of them. There's no limit here, brother and sister, for us. For it depends on what is our goal here in the path of Iman, what we're going to achieve, what we're going to reach to go towards that direction. Imam Sadiq, he's saying that, Ala inna qum harami wa haram waladi min ba'di. Qum is my haram and the haram of my children. Very important. Is my haram and the haram of my children. SubhanAllah, it shows the importance of this, and it shows what we have to do. Then let me go to these characteristics again, because sometimes we just stuck into the fadila and the attributes of that person, not knowing what that person did that they reached that level. Therefore, the most important thing that we're saying this is this. Number one, and most important thing is what? Is the ma'rifat of us towards the Imam of our time. Let's kind of evaluate it. How much we are encouraging our children to have the ma'rifat towards the Imam of their time. How much we're encouraging our children to have ma'rifah towards Imam. How many times per week we are talking about Imam Zaman in our house. How much our children, different ages, they know and they have knowledge about Imam of their time. What if I tell you this? People of Kufa, people of Medina, they didn't talk too much about the Imam of their time, Imam Hassan, Imam Hussein, with their children. What would you say? They didn't let their children to be that familiar with the Imam of their time, Imam Hussein. That's why their children, when they raised up, when they grown up, they didn't know that much about their time. That's why they didn't support. Who do you blame? You blame who? You blame their parents. You say the parents, they were supposed to tell them about who is Imam Hussein, the son of Imam Ali, the son of Zahra. They didn't tell them. That's why this happened, right? What if we are doing exactly, we're in the same situation? What if we are not introducing, we're not talking, we're not, stories that we have to say? The true Shia at that time, they were telling stories about Ahlul Bayt to their children, so to have them have attachment to Ahlul Bayt. How much we're doing this? Sometimes you said, our children, yes, they know certain things, but they are so liberal about the Shia values. They're so liberal. They think about Ahlul Bayt, very important people, very nice people, but they're not sensitive about Ahlul Bayt. This is what it is important, right? Not sensitive about. So that's what we have to think about. One is this maqam that we have to, inshallah, establish more and talk more and inshallah, review more with our children and let them be more attached, more familiar with, knowledgeable about Ahlul Bayt, specifically the Imam of our time, because soon they will be, inshallah, in the era, or ourselves as well, inshallah, that they need to directly support the Imam of their time, inshallah. So number one, the ma'rifah. The second one, what we're doing in terms of the iman, the taqwa that we should have, and to what level, what is our goal of taqwa? Hazrat Fatima Masooma, goal of taqwa, for sure, it was not a low level. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave her this much privileges and benefit. In dunya, Allah knows what is going on in akhirah, right? What is the target that you have for taqwa and iman? Is your taqwa is to the level that, inshallah, just praying on time as well, and then fasting, it will be good. You're good, and then that level is good for you. For some people, the sky of iman is their limit. They can, no, nothing. I have to improve more. I have to do more. They constantly review themselves. They want to reach that. And then once you do it, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows how to take care of you. We see that our ulama, our maraja, how many of them Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala took care of them. No one knew them. They didn't have any specific power, but because of the level of the taqwa, Allah helped them. Not only in dunya, they have benefit and they benefit everyone and their name and fame, and in akhirah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best. The taqwa that they have. So Hazrat Masooma reached that level because of the taqwa. The third one is what? The third one is, the knowledge. That ma'rifah we talk about, Ahlul Bayt, comes with knowledge, comes with studying, comes with research, comes with. Why don't we do this with our children? If we want to make them attached, one of the things they don't know about Ahlul Bayt, they think Ahlul Bayt, they were only the spiritual leaders. They were only good with, namaz, salah, and fasting, and fiqh, and aqa'id. But knowing that they were among the most knowledgeable people, not the most knowledgeable people at their time, in terms of ilm and knowledge, people were coming to them. So us following that path, having our children, inshallah, be more familiar with Ahlul Bayt through the knowledge, this is another important thing that we have to think about and, inshallah, promote it more and more. So, salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa ajjal farajahum. Therefore, here's the point. Do not worry about how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would like to and would respond to you, how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would somehow help you. Allah knows what to do. It's us that we need to see what we have to do. Specifically, I want you to see that these examples that we have in front of us, such as, Hazrat Masooma, Hazrat Zainab, Sallallahu, that they are so clear in front of us that they were the students of the Maktab of Ahlul Bayt. That's why they could reach that maqam and that level. So taqwa, that we talk about it, knowledge, we talk about it, ma'rifat towards Ahlul Bayt, we talk about it, and amal, an action. Hazrat Fatima Masooma, she had action. She did something that was difficult, months and months, for example, to immigrate from Medina, come towards Khurasan and Marv, but she did. She finally did it in action. She followed with all those difficulties. The companion of Ahlul Bayt, they put their iman into test, and they tested their iman by amal and their action. It's up to us at this moment, at this time, brothers and sisters, how we want to test our iman by action. And what we're going to do with this. One of the most important things, individually, family, and community-wise. Individually, how are you doing yourself? How do you test, what level of iman, and where you can recognize these things? One of the most important things that you can test your iman in action is when there are disputes, when there are fights. It's a very important thing. You want to see what level of iman you have? Do not look how many salat on time you have. Do not look how many nights you wake up for salat al-layl. Do not look how many fasting you have, mustahab or wajib. As Ahlul Bayt, Imam Hassan Askari says, do not give the value to someone just because of the number of raka'at of the salat or days of fasting. No. See the iman in that specific important moment that should be tested. Iman should show. Everybody can wake up, pray. Everybody can do salat. You can get even used to it to pray on time. I'm not bringing that down. I'm saying that's not the measure specifically for us to say, Alhamdulillah. The measure is very difficult moment that my benefit is in clash with someone else's benefits, how I can be selfless and evaluate it unbiasedly. Husband and wife, when you're fighting, that's the moment of you're testing your iman. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is testing your iman. I have seen many when it comes to the fight between husband and wife. When the fight happened, Khuda hafiz shar, Khuda hafiz deen, Khuda hafiz Islam, money. My benefit. And then they say it, and then right there they go pray namaz on time. Salat awal waqt. That's the moment you test your iman. He talks however he wants with his wife, disrespecting how she does whatever she does against her husband, and then namaz awal waqt as well. It doesn't work. You want to test iman? The iman of Ahlul Bayt. It's not just the iman of masjid. It's not the iman in the masjid and haram. No, it's the iman in the society, iman in the house. The iman how they treat their children. The iman how they train their children. Let me have some beautiful traditions for you. Specifically now we're talking about Hazrat Fatima Masooma. Hadith from beautiful, mashallah. What Rasulullah heard from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala the night of Mi'raj. قُلْ لَآبَاءِ الْبَنَاتِ لَا تَضِيقَنَّ صُدُورُكُمْ عَلَى بَنَاتِكُمْ فَإِنِّي كَمَا خَلَقْتُهُنَّ وَارْزُقْهُنَّ. Tell, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, tell those who have daughters, those fathers who have daughters, don't lose your patience with them. Take care of them, support them, be nice to them, be kind to them. I am the one who would provide for them. In another hadith says, tell those who have daughters, do not disrespect them. Do not prioritize boys over them until Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward them and enter them to heaven. How are we doing with our children? When there's a fight, when there's a testing the iman in this level, testing one in this moments. when there's a dispute. Then you see that level of iman, level of action in iman. About Amir al-Mu'minin Hazazah, he said, she had never done anything. He has never done anything to upset me. That's the highest standard and the goal we have to do. Iman is this. I'm saying if we want to reach the maqam of, we can't reach the maqam of Ahlul Bayt, right? We cannot. But we can target at least the maqam of those companions, those people such as Hadi Masooma, inshallah, of course, we can't reach that level. To inshallah go towards that level and become more and more and more and closer to that level. How we can do it? One of the aspects is in the individual aspects, as I mentioned, how we are. Second, in our family wise, how we're doing it, interactions with others. When it comes to the weddings, when it comes to the parties, when it comes to how we're standing with deen, how we're standing with shara and ahkam of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and respectfully say to someone, you know, Amaruf, this is not right, you shouldn't do it, or at least I can attend. And the third, community-wise. What we are doing, our responsibilities in the community towards the community. What are we doing? Someone like Hazrat Masooma, she was not just for herself. Someone like Hazrat Zainab, she was not for herself. She came out. Ahlul Bayt companions, they did something for their communities. And look what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says. So testing this in this different things, individual aspects, the family aspects, the community and society as well. Then follow these things from individual aspects, you know, of course, all aspects, my personality, my deficiencies, things that I need to work on, sabr, patience, control management, anger management, emotional control, anything that we have to do, right? Tawakkul to Allah, working on jealousy, whatever it is, to improve myself individually. And then the maqam of ibadah and taqwa and worship, yes, the salat on time and ibadah, or anything we have to do. And then go to the other aspects, the family-wise. قُوا أَنفُسَكُمْ ayat Quran, Bismillah ar-Rahman, قُوا أَنفُسَكُمْ وَأَهْلِيكُمْ نَارًا. Make sure you prevent yourself and your family from the hellfire. You want to see how successful you were in training your children? Don't look if your children are the best businessmen and women or their PhD or engineer. Very good. But the level and maqam of their ma'rifah towards Islam and deen, that's priority number one. That is the priority. That you tell your children, you know, it doesn't matter for me if you become the super duper most professor and the best professor in the world or someone. If the deen and knowledge and ma'rifah towards deen is not there, it's not worth it for me. You raise them and train them with this. Both. We need deen, ta'ahud, and takhassus together. And we need them to be trained and to be good. But it's not just a dunyavi perspective. Train them and raise them from their childhood that, you know what? Don't just think about just being a doctor, being an engineer or someone. Just no, that aspect make you different than others, make you a star in the sky of iman. That's what is important. The family. And of course, then you raise some great community members that tomorrow your center, your communities and other communities would be, you know, shaped and run by community members who have these aspects for children. So therefore, inshallah, we should keep in mind and put in front of us the lifestyle of certain figures such as Hazrat Masooma, inshallah, which again, the beginning of the week of the Karamat, and this great week until the Wiladat of Imam Rida alayhi salam, for us to do a little bit more, study and search about lifestyle of the city. We have a lot. I really recommend you to just go read the Ziyarat Nama about Hazrat Father Masooma from here with the intention, inshallah, and read the translation to see what we have over there. And the phrases of that translation, that Ziyarat Nama, important, very, subhanAllah, important. Someone who is not among the 14 Ma'sumin, how come, she could reach that level? and then read her, again, she, like Hazrat Zainab and Abul Fadl Abbas, we don't have too much of history about them and the history. It's mostly about what happened to them, such as, for example, Hazrat Masooma in Qom, specifically, since she had the trip and stuff like that. But again, just reviewing, reading, and pondering upon how they could reach this maqam, and inshallah make it a sample, a model for us as well to be able to reach that as well. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help us and benefit us, inshallah, to be able to follow this path and have ma'rifah and knowledge towards Ahlul Bayt, towards the Imam of our time, inshallah, and have the tawfiq to be able to turn and make that ma'rifah in a better iman and put it in action, inshallah, and make that zakhira and reward for our dunya wal akhirah. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala Muhammadin wa ajjal farajhum. Allahumma ajjal waliyaka al-faraj wal afiyata wal nasr wa mujja fi umrihi al-sharif wa zayyan al-ardha bitul baqa'ih واجعلنا من أعوانه وأنصاره وشيعته يا رحمن يا رحيم ثبت قلوبنا على دينك. Ya Allah, بحق Rasulullah, بحق Quran, hasten in the dhuhr of our Imam Mahdi. Let us and our generation be among the true followers of our Imam. Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, help our youth, make them successful in dunya wal akhirah. Do not let anyone from our generation be against the path of Islam, Quran, and Ahlul Bayt. Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, we ask you humbly, those brothers and sisters who have hajat and requests, give them all khair hajat and requests. Those who are under difficulties, provide opportunities for their freedom. Those who are sick, cure them, and those who passed away, send the thawab and reward from our gathering to the soul, inshallah. Rahmallah man yaqra al-Fatihata ma'a as-salawat. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. غرق بارون مدینه امشب، غرق بارون مدینه امشب، یه ملیک اومده درست مثل زینب، یه ملیک اومده درست مثل زینب، یه فرشته گرم خوابه توی آغوشه مادر، پا گذاشته توی دنیا دختر موسی بن جعفر، دختر موسی بن جعفر. امام رضا سلمیده آهای گرفتارا، امام رضا سلمیده آهای گرفتارا، رسیده برگ شفاعت واسه گنهکارا، برگ شفاعت واسه گنهکارا. روح ایمانی شرح قرآنی، روح ایمانی شرح قرآنی، همه دنیا میدونن بهشت ایرانی، همه دنیا میدونن بهشت ایرانی. بی خیال نور خورشید، نور گنبد تو رو عشقه، برای رونی یا بانو حرمت مثل دمشقه، حرمت مثل دمشقه. خزون قلب و دلم زنده از بهار شماست، خزون قلب و دلم زنده از بهار شماست. تموم اعتبار من ز اعتبار شماست، تموم اعتبار من ز اعتبار شماست. هر کسی خانوم حرمو دیده، هر کسی خانوم حرمو دیده، میگه خیلی بوی مشهد الرضا میده، میگه خیلی بوی مشهد الرضا میده. شب میلاد تو بانو دل به شور و شفف افتاد، شب میلاد تو بانو دل به شور و شف افتاد. دم ایوون تلاتون باز به یاد نجف افتاد، باز به یاد نجف افتاد. جنازمو میبرن وادی السلام علی، جنازمو میبرن وادی السلام علی. علی امام من است و منم غلام علی، علی امام من است و منم غلام علی. Inshallah, we will conclude with the ziyarat of Lady Masooma alayhi salam. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. السلام على آدم سفمة الله، السلام على نوح النبي الله، السلام على إبراهيم خليل الله، السلام على موسى كليم الله، السلام على عيسى روح الله، السلام عليك يا رسول الله، السلام عليك يا خير خلق الله، السلام عليك يا سفي الله، السلام عليك يا محمد بن عبد الله خاتم النبيين، السلام عليك يا أمير المؤمنين علي بن أبي طالب يا رسول الله، السلام عليك يا فاطمة سيدة نساء العالمين، السلام عليكما يا سبتي نبي الرحمة وسيدي شباب أهل الجنة، السلام عليك يا علي بن الحسين سيد العابدين وقرة عين الناظرين، السلام عليك يا محمد بن علي باغر العلم بعد النبي، السلام عليك يا جعفر بن محمد الصادق البار الأمين، السلام عليك يا موسى بن جعفر الطاهر الطاهر، السلام عليك يا علي بن موسى الرضا المرتضى، السلام عليك يا محمد بن علي التقي، السلام عليك يا علي بن محمد النقي الناصر الأمين، السلام عليك يا حسن بن علي، السلام على الوسيم من بعد، اللهم صل على نورك وسراجك وولي وليك ووسي وسيك وحجتك على خلقك، السلام عليك يا بنت رسول الله، السلام عليك يا بنت فاطمة وخديجة، السلام عليك يا بنت أمير المؤمنين، السلام عليك يا بنت الحسن والحسين، السلام عليك يا بنت ولي الله، السلام عليك يا أخت ولي الله، السلام عليك يا عمة ولي الله، السلام عليك يا بنت موسى بن جعفر ورحمة الله وبركاته، السلام عليك عرف الله بيننا وبينكم في الجنة وحشرنا في زمرتكم وأوردنا حوض نبيكم وسقانا بكأس جدكم من يد علي بن أبي طالب صلوات الله عليكم، أسأل الله أن يرينا فيكم السرور والفرج وأن يجمعنا وإياكم في زمرة محمد صلى الله عليه وآله، وأن لا يسلبنا معرفتكم إنه ولي قدير، أتقرب إلى الله بربكم والبراءة من أعدائكم والتسليم إلى الله راضيا به غير منكر ولا مستكبر ولا يغين ما أتى به محمد وبه راض نطلب بذلك وجهك يا سيدي، اللهم ورضاك والدار الآخرة يا فاطمة اشفعي لي في الجنة يا فاطمة اشفعي لي في الجنة يا فاطمة اشفعي لي في الجنة إنك لك عند الله شانا من الشان اللهم إني أسألك أن تختم لي بالسعادة فلا تسلب مني ما أنا فيه ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم اللهم استجب لنا وتقبله بكرمك بعزتك وبرحمتك وعافيتك وصلى الله على محمد وآله أجمعين وسلم تسليما يا أرحم الراحمين رحم الله